That is the 2021 Volkswagen Tiguan. This one is the SEL-R line. It comes in at $40,000. And in this video, we're going to find out, is it any good? And does it have what it takes to compete with vehicles like the Toyota RAV4 and the Honda CR-V? This is the second generation of the Tiguan. It debuted here in the US in 2017. Now abroad, they have a facelifted version of this very car. We don't have that one yet, although it's coming soon. Now, if you're wondering what Tiguan means, well, it's a combination of words, tiger and iguana. And in fact, it won a naming contest by a German car magazine, and here are the names that it beat out. Namib, Rockton, Samoon, and Nanook. That's quite the selection of names there, Volkswagen. Are you rolling? First up is the cardboard box test. We're going to see how many of these Home Depot boxes we can shove into the rear of the Volkswagen. Let's get going. Now, each of these boxes contain 85 pounds worth of dumbbells. You can see how well my training's been going. We've got a selection of boxes here, a big and a medium, although they're not really all that different. But let's go ahead and start with the big boxes behind the back seats. Now, you can get this vehicle in both 5 and 7-seater configurations. This one is a 5-seater. There is the first of the big boxes. Here is a medium-sized box. Not looking so good. All right, well, check that out. We can get one big and one medium, but the Tiguan has a secret hidden function. The back seats in this Volkswagen can actually slide forward and backwards 7 inches. Let's see if we can get more behind the second row. Shove these forward. Oh yes, feeling good about this. Here is another medium box. That fits nicely. Can we get another one in here? Let's give it a whirl. Will it close? Oh no, my fine china. Ruined. All right, let's fold the seats down and give that another whirl. Well, this is a little bit annoying. When I went to fold this down, it's actually running into the back of the driver's seat. So I need to scoot these back. Oh boy. There we go. Same thing on this side. Now we can keep going. Uh-oh. I think I'm going to run out of boxes. Now, with the seats folded down, we have 73.5 cubic feet of space, which is an enormous amount of room for moving boxes or furniture or perhaps a little bit of camping. It may hold a lot of stuff, but the key to the Volkswagen is not very nice. For a $40,000 car, there is just no design or quality to it. It's this kind of cheap, lightweight plastic thing with these buttons that just aren't very satisfying to use. And then it's got the key pop up top, but I don't know, maybe throw some chrome on there? How about that? Or some leather? That would be nice. Now on the road, the Tiguan does feel quite buttoned down. The suspension tuning is a lot more sporty than something like a RAV4, although it can be a little bit choppy, especially with these 20-inch wheels. I do have a lot of safety tech in this vehicle, so lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, side assist, all that is available in the Tiguan, and it works pretty well. It's one of the better lane keep assist systems I've experienced. Now, it of course does have keyless entry, so as long as the key is in your pocket, you can touch the door handle to unlock the car. And one nice touch is up here on the B pillar, this black Volkswagen sticker, the individual letters. I'm curious how that will hold up over time because it feels like it's just attached on there, but it does look pretty nice. Now, being a top spec SEL-R line, this Volkswagen does have some nice premium features. Down here we have power seats, both for the height adjustment, forward and back, and of course recline and even lumbar adjustment, and above that, memory seats on a Tiguan. That is a nice piece of tech. Now, stepping into the Volkswagen, I do really like these seating surfaces. This is the full leather interior, and they are nicely stitched. I especially like the black piping along the edges of the seats. Now, this kind of angled stitching also continues onto the door panel, which is a nice premium touch. As cool as the seats are, I wish they would incorporate some of that pizzazz into the overall dash color palette. It's a lot of grays and blacks and not a lot of variety in terms of materials. Now the top of the dash is kind of this black elephant skin. We've got, a black cubby up here. And the front of the dash is this dark gray glossy finish. We've got a little bit of like a carbon fiber finish here in front of the passenger, but overall it's just a sea of grays and blacks. One area that does feel very nice in the Volkswagen Tiguan is the steering wheel. This is a leather wrapped steering wheel, and I do really enjoy the white stitching along the inside here. Some piano black accenting along the bottom with the R badge down here, but it is the perfect thickness with some bolstering up top, easy to use buttons. This is a great steering wheel. I will say I think the Volkswagen has the best steering in class. It's the most direct. It's actually pretty lively, and it does a good job of hiding its curb weight, which is over 4,000 pounds. It's pretty nimble and pretty fun. The start button on the Volkswagen is not up here on the steering column. This is just a little sensor for in case the key fob battery dies, you can actually start the vehicle. The actual starter button is down here by the shifter, this little silver button. Push it with the key in your pocket to start it up. This car has an inline automatic transmission shifter for the 8-speed, so park, reverse, neutral, and drive. Now you can pull down one more click to engage the sport mode, or you can push it to the right to engage the manual mode, so down to downshift, up to upshift, but there are no paddle shifters. The drive selector knob in the Tiguan is a little bit interesting. Now, to default, we've got the on-road mode, but there's also an off-road mode and a configurable off-road mode as well when you go all the way to the right. And then all the way to the left is the snow mode. But let me go back to the on-road setting. If I then push the mode selector inward, it changes different types of on-road settings. So I've got an eco mode, a normal mode, a sport mode, and a custom mode. And you can of course adjust the custom mode by going into the settings. You can change the steering, the drivetrain, climate control if you want. There's all sorts of fun stuff you can do. And you can also adjust the off-road system as well. So hill descent control, all-wheel drive system, normal or off-road, steering, sport, all that kind of stuff. So this is one of the weirdest things in the Volkswagen Tiguan. This button right here for the driver's side heated seats is also the same button for the heated steering wheel. So they both come on at the same time. But what if you just want to turn on the heated seats? Well, then you have to come up here, push the button to on, and then disengage the steering wheel. Or you can do it the other way too, have the seats off but the steering wheel on. It feels like they're trying to save money by not incorporating a hard steering wheel heating button, but that's how they decided to do it. This car has an 8-inch touchscreen display, and one of the cool things it does is it recognizes when your hand is getting close to it and will actually display additional commands. So there's my hand away, and then of course you get a little hand icon down here letting you know it's ready to be adjusted, but I'm not actually touching the screen. It's like magic. How cool is that? This is kind of a funny bit of trivia. Here is the vehicle status screen, and do you see this Tiguan it displays? That is actually the facelifted version, which I'm not currently driving. That's like the one in Europe. It's like it's there to taunt you, letting you know that us Americans still are getting the old one. In front of the shifter here, we've got a large cubby with a built-in Qi wireless charger. Let's see how it does with the larger iPhone 11. Yeah, that fits. That's cool to see. And above that, we've got two USB-C ports as well as this little 12-volt power socket, which is a little bit tricky to get to. This is kind of a cool screen. It's like a little trip computer, but one cool tidbit is this little Tiguan actually drives further to the right toward this gas pump as you start to run out of gas. So we're about half a tank. It's roughly halfway across the screen. As we get closer to a quarter tank and then empty, it will go all the way to the right. Fuel economy wise, this Tiguan is rated at 24 miles per gallon combined, which is, it's a lot of space in this vehicle, but it's certainly is far from best in class, especially when you look at the hybrid offerings from some of the Japanese and Korean competitors. This one has the 10-inch digital cluster, and it's a really high-quality, high-resolution screen. Now, the middle portion is configurable, but so are the dials on the left and the right. So if I go here into the center, I can actually change what they show and what they display, which is pretty cool. It's just nice having all these options. And this is a fun tidbit. These little LED lines on the left here for the temperature and on the right for the fuel are pretty much the same you find in Audis and even the Lamborghini Urus. You can also display your navigation, and that will do turn by turn right in front of the driver, so it's easy to see where you're going, and you can zoom in and out using the button here on the steering wheel. The backseat of the Tiguan is massive. I mean, this is a super impressive rear seat. This is my driving position at 6'1", and look how extended I am with my legs. It's so comfortable. I even have tons of headroom. Okay, maybe not tons, but enough headroom to the point where I'm not hitting, and I can get more by simply reclining the seat, just like that. Now, of course, if I wanted to have less legroom, for more trunk space, I can scoot the seat forward, but even with the seat forward quite a big distance, I still have pretty decent legroom. I mean, I'm just really impressed with the comfort back here. One USB-C port and 12-volt outlet, but yeah, for kids or even for adults, this is a good place to spend time. Now, some other clever engineering solutions in the back of the Volkswagen. Right down here, there are these notches and a place to store the view blocker completely out of the way. That is super handy. Now, if we remove this, we can actually lower the floor into a bottom position. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but you can see there are a couple of notches here like that, and then that will sink down, I don't know, maybe an inch lower than it was before, but then of course you've got that big hump there, so you can't go sliding stuff, but for taller items, that could potentially be quite handy. There is only one engine option here in the United States. It is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 184 horsepower. You can get it in front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, abroad, there's something called the Tiguan R. That one has about 316 horsepower. This one is the R line. The R line is largely an appearance package, so we don't get the crazy horsepower numbers that they get like in Europe and the full-on R, but maybe someday. Let me go into sport mode and we'll do a quick acceleration test. Now, the 184 horsepower 2-liter is a little bit down compared to some of its competition. Full throttle. Yep, there's quite a delay. So you've got a little bit of turbo lag, and the transmission is a little bit resistant to downshift, so that can be a little bit frustrating. Now, up here at elevation, the turbocharger does help a lot. So even though the RAV4 has 203 standard horsepower, this feels a little bit more sprightly because of the forced induction, although those models now offer hybrids. Even the Tucson has a 226 horsepower hybrid. The Volkswagen does not offer a hybrid, and funny enough, in this class now, the hybrids are in a lot of cases faster than the gasoline versions. Now, the Tiguan is a very conservative looking vehicle. If you look at something like the new Hyundai Tucson with its crazy angles and bizarre LEDs, this looks pretty well, standard. I think it's a good looking SUV, but nothing all that special. The R-Line SEL Premium here does have full LED headlights, which is nice. This one has a chrome grille, and the 20-inch wheels are rad. But apart from that, you know, it's a Tiguan. It's very SUV-y. The Tiguan is overall a safe choice. It's got a nice interior with a ton of room. It's got a pretty potent powertrain. This one behind me is a little bit expensive. I probably would forego the R-Line. I'm not sure the larger wheels help the ride much, but apart from that, it's not a bad choice. I can't wait to see what they do with the redesign, see what that's like. But if you want a lot of room, decent comfort, and pretty good tech for a comparable price to like a RAV4 or a Hyundai Tucson or a CR-V, check out the Volkswagen Tiguan. Well, as always, this has been Tommy with the Fastlane Car. Check out TFLcar.com for the latest and greatest in new vehicle reviews.